The summary channel. In this video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous 12 hours. We have lots of very interesting updates, so let's start. And first we're going to talk about the conflict on the territory Ukraine, where during the previous night between the 23rd and 24th of May of 2026, the Russians carried out one of the biggest attacks on the territory Ukraine using hundreds of drones, dozens of missiles and one ORESHNIK system. According to media, the Russians were mainly attacking just 3 cities of Ukraine. We are talking about the settlement of Kyiv, the city of Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, the city of BELAYA, which is located to the southwest of the city of Kyiv, and the settlement of Starokonstantinov, which is located to the west of the capital of Ukraine in the western parts of Ukraine. As you may know, the city of Konstantinov and the Konstantinov airfield, the Ukrainians use for air defense purposes. They use F-16s and Mirage aircrafts to bring down Russian drones that are flying over the territory Ukraine. So once again, that was one of the biggest attacks, and the most important is that the Russians, for the third time since the beginning of the special military operation, have used the ORESHNIK system. The Minister of Defense of Ukraine this morning published an article, and according to these numbers, the Russians during the night used 690 vehicles, air vehicles, and according to pro-Ukrainian sources and the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, most of these air vehicles were destroyed. But of course, when talking about the situation on the ground and videos that were published during the night, it seems that the Ukrainians haven't managed to bring down even a single missile. A lot of articles, a lot of videos and details were published during the night. We have everything about the overnight attack. We have drone positions, and as you can see, and according to these maps, the Russians were attacking mainly the capital of Ukraine. So the biggest number of drones and missiles were flying towards the capital of Ukraine, and once again, this attack wasn't just another massive attack carried out by Russians. This was a retaliatory strike. I would like to remind you that during the several days ago, the Ukrainians attacked the city by the name of Starobelsk, which is located in the Lugansk region. And these videos and these pictures we discussed 2 days ago and yesterday, and according to this attack, the Ukrainians attacked the college, and as of the morning of the 22nd of May of 2026, lots of casualties among civilians were recorded, up to 21 people. And the Russians finished the rescue operation just yesterday in the evening, and when the Russians finished this rescue operation in the city of Starobelsk, the Russians carried out a retaliatory strike. And this is the map where we can see the approximate roads. As you can see, the Russians were using drones, the Russians were using ballistic missiles, the Russians were using cruise missiles, the Russians were using caliber missiles, and the most important thing, the Russians used the ORESHNIK system. During the night, we received lots of updates on this matter, and the sources were saying that the Russians were attacking the city of Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, with the ORESHNIK system. But this morning, we came to conclusion, and later this information was confirmed both by the Minister of Defense of Ukraine and different Ukrainian sources, that the city of Kyiv was an attack with the ORESHNIK system. The Russians were attacking the city of Kyiv just with missiles and drones, caliber missiles, ballistic missiles, and so on. But the Russians didn't use the ORESHNIK system to attack the city of Kyiv. Right now in front of your screens, you can see the strikes that were recorded during the previous night and how civilians were making videos on this matter. Lots of explosions were recorded through the night, and here we have the city of Kyiv somewhere around at 6 or 5 a.m. of the 24th of May of 2026. As you can see, fire broke out at several places, at several points of the capital of Ukraine. And this morning we received lots of updates, lots of videos on the matter of what exactly the Russians were attacking when talking about the city of Kyiv. A lot of buildings, as you can see, were destroyed. Lots of constructions were reduced to ruins. And these days, these minutes, rescue services of Kyiv are trying to stabilize the situation. But once again, the Russians didn't attack the city of Kyiv with the ORESHNIK system. The Russians attacked the city of BELAYA with the ORESHNIK system, and the city of BELAYA is located a bit further in the southwestern direction. We can also find this confirmation on different maps that were published by different sources. For example, in this map, we can see all roads, all approximate roads of drones that the Russians use during the night. As you can see, most of these lines are moving in the direction of capital. In this picture, we can see the lines of just missiles. As you can see, this is the ORESHNIK system. This is this orange line, and as you can see, this orange line moves in the direction of the settlement of BELAYA TSERKOV. Several missiles, probably Iskander-K missiles, are moving in the direction of Konstantinov airfield, and the rest of the missiles, dozens of missiles, were moving in the direction of the city of Kyiv. As you can see, and according even to this video, the city of Kyiv was under very heavy fire during the night. So lots of explosions were recorded. Just during this video, we can see 2 or 3 explosions of missiles of different types through the settlement, and lots of damages the Russians managed to deal. Now let's talk about the city of BELAYA TSERKOV, and let's talk about the ORESHNIK system.
Lige siden Ferdinand Salling åbnede den første butik på Søndergade 34 i Aarhus, har Salling handlet om at få.
During the night, there were reports that the Russians used either one ORESHNIK system or 2 ORESHNIK system. Some sources reported that the Russians used the ORESHNIK system to attack the city of Kyiv, and first, when these videos were published, the sources reported that the Russians were attacking the city of Kyiv with the ORESHNIK system. Later, we received another report, and according to the second report, the Russians attacked with the second ORESHNIK system, but this time the settlement of BELAYA TSERKOV. But this morning, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine and several sources confirmed that the Russians during the night used just one ORESHNIK system, and the Russians attacked just the city of BELAYA TSERKOV. And here we can see the moment when 6 warheads, and each has 6 submunition, in total 36 submunitions, were attacking the settlement of BELAYA TSERKOV between the 23rd and the 24th of May of 2026. And this is probably the first video, one of the first videos that was published during the night, and here we can see these submunitions that were attacking the city of Kyiv overnight. So you need to take a look in the bottom left corner. These are the submunitions, 36 submunitions that attacked the city of BELAYA TSERKOV. As of the beginning of the 24th of May of 2026, we don't know for sure what exactly the Russians were attacking on the territory of the city of BELAYA TSERKOV, but when talking about the city itself, we have industrial zone, this one, well fortified industrial zone that probably the Ukrainians were using as a shelter or as a bunker for some authorities or commanders of the armed forces of Ukraine. We have objects of energy infrastructure, we have airfields. So we don't know for sure what exactly the Russians were attacking, but most likely due to the fact that Ukrainians several days ago attacked the city of Starobelsk, we believe that the Russians were attacking decision-making centers. So most likely in coming hours or in coming days, we'll receive updates on the matter, what exactly the Russians attacked and what kind of objectives the Russians managed to complete. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, made a statement this morning on the matter of the overnight attack, and he made a statement because during the previous night, due to the fact that there were reports that the Russians were attacking the city of Kyiv with ORESHNIK system, many sources began publishing updates and spreading disinformation that maybe the Russians were attacking a bunker or a decision-making center with Zelensky himself. So that is why Zelensky this morning published a video with himself as fast as possible, with the purpose to show that everything is okay with him. Anyway, let's wait and see what is going to happen next. But another important thing that I would like to point to your attention is that this morning, probably 5 or 6 deputies of the Verkhovna Rada of the Parliament of Ukraine made statements and published updates on their social networks suggesting, proposing, or even calling the Ukraine's authorities and Zelensky himself to surrender. They asked to surrender because they realized that probably with such systems like ORESHNIK, like Iskander, and like all these types of weapons that the Russians use to attack the territory of Ukraine, Ukraine doesn't have much chances to win this war, and so that is why they were publishing all these things. So probably this is something new. And imagine yourself if the Russians, as Zelensky have reported many times since the beginning of this month, if Russians begin their offensive operation from the northern direction, and if the Russians are able to establish control over the city of Kyiv with artillery, obviously we'll see more deputies and more representatives of Ukrainian authorities who will call for the same, for ceasefire and for peace with the Russians.
Hos Normal kan du tage 3 Vanish for prisen på 3 Vanish.
During the previous night, the Ukrainians also tried to attack the territory of Russia using hundreds of drones. And according to information we have, several cities on the territory of Russia were damaged and probably significantly damaged. So these videos and pictures were received from the city of Belgorod. According to information we have, the Ukrainians attacked the settlement of Borisovka in the Belgorod region, and as a result of attack, as you can see, several buildings and constructions were damaged or even maybe destroyed. Furthermore, we received reports that the Ukrainians attacked the city of Lugansk. As for the settlement of Lugansk, the Ukrainians, according to information we have, attacked the Lugansk oil refinery. And as a result of attack, as you can see, this object of energy infrastructure was significantly damaged by the Ukrainians. But it seems that at some point, the Ukrainians stopped attacking Russians because they moved their focus towards this massive attack that the Russians were carrying out. Now let's discuss the situation on the ground. During the previous 12 hours, we also received lots of very interesting updates. According to media, the Ukrainians continue establishing almost complete control over the M18 and M14 roads between Crimea, Melitopol, Mariupol, and Rostov-on-Don. During the previous night, we received additional videos where we can see how civilians were moving through these logistic roads, and here we can see a lot of fire that's broke out after Ukraine's attacks. We have a lot of vehicles that were damaged and destroyed by Ukraine's drones through this area, and we see that Ukrainians are improving their positions in this area, trying to cut and to destroy the Russia's logistics and not to allow the Russians to support their forces both in the Zaporozhye and Kherson directions. This is another video published by pro-Ukrainian sources, and here we can see more vehicles that were destroyed and damaged by the Ukrainians along the M14 road. In this video, we can see at least 2 or 3 vehicles that were destroyed by the Ukrainians. And most likely, the Ukrainians will intensify their activities in this region. Now let's discuss the situation on the ground. During the previous 12 hours, we received changes, and changes are coming from the Dobropolye direction, and these are the changes between the dates. This is the end of the 23rd of May, this is the beginning of the 24th of May of 2026. The Ukrainians were bombing Russian soldiers in this area, and based on this video, we came to the conclusion that the Russians continue advancing further in the western direction and improving their positions. Now let's move further and let's discuss the situation in the city of Konstantinovka. The map has been adjusted in this area after a very long pause. I would like to remind you that we haven't been receiving almost anything for the previous 3 days. The last updates from the city of Konstantinovka were published on the 20th of May of 2026, and since that moment we haven't received anything, and just during the previous night between the 23rd and the 24th of May of 2026 we received updates that the Russians managed to improve their position significantly through the southern parts of the city of Konstantinovka, and it seems that the Russians captured everything to the south of Road N20 and N32. This video was published by pro-Ukrainian sources, and here we can see how Ukrainians were attacking Russians through the southern parts of the city, which means that this industrial zone most likely currently is under complete Russian control. The Russians continue advancing further, and the battle for the city of Konstantinovka continues. As for the central Kupiansk directions, during the previous 12 hours we haven't received anything special. No changes on the ground were recorded, and we can understand this because most likely today and tomorrow we will talk just about the ORESHNIK system and about massive attacks between Russians and Ukrainians. And probably only on Monday or on Tuesday we'll start receiving first huge changes on the ground. But we believe that in coming hours we may receive updates about the city of Vozdvizhovka. Probably this might be an exception because according to information we have, the group of forces east is finishing the battle for this territory. And that's it for the short video. The military